Day 74. Deuteronomy 25-27. If there is a dispute between men, they are to go to court to be judged, so that the innocent may be acquitted and the guilty condemned. If the guilty man deserves to be beaten, the judge shall have him lie down and be flogged in his presence with the number of lashes his crime warrants. He may receive no more than 40 lashes, lest your brother be beaten any more than that and be degraded in your sight. Do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. When brothers dwell together and one of them dies without a son, the widow must not marry outside the family. Her husband's brother is to take her as his wife and fulfill the duty of a brother-in-law for her. The first son she bears will carry on the name of the dead brother, so that his name will not be blotted out from Israel. But if the man does not want to marry his brother's widow, she is to go to the elders at the city gate and say, "My husband's brother refuses to preserve his brother's name in Israel. He is not willing to perform the duty of a brother-in-law for me." Then the elders of his city shall summon him and speak with him. If he persists and says, "I do not want to marry her," his brother's widow shall go up to him in the presence of the elders, remove his sandal, spit in his face, and declare, "This is what is done to the man who will not maintain his brother's line." And his family name in Israel will be called the house of the Unsandaled. If two men are fighting, and the wife of one steps in to rescue her husband from the one striking him, and she reaches out her hand and grabs his genitals, you are to cut off her hand. You must show her no pity. You shall not have two differing weights in your bag, one heavy and one light. You shall not have two differing measures in your house, one large and one small. You must maintain accurate and honest weights and measures, so that you may live long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. For everyone who behaves dishonestly in regard to these things is detestable to the Lord your God. Remember what the Amalekites did to you along your way from Egypt, how they met you on your journey when you were tired and weary, and they attacked all your stragglers. They had no fear of God. When the Lord your God gives you rest from the enemies around you in the land that he is giving you to possess as an inheritance, you are to blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. When you enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and you take possession of it and settle in it, you are to take some of the firstfruits of all your produce from the soil of the land that the Lord your God is giving you and put them in a basket. Then go to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name, to the priest who is serving at that time, and say to him, "I declare today to the Lord your God that I have entered the land that the Lord swore to our fathers to give us." Then the priest shall take the basket from your hands and place it before the altar of the Lord your God, and you are to declare before the Lord your God, "My father was a wandering Aramean, and he went down to Egypt few in number and lived there and became a great nation, mighty and numerous. But the Egyptians mistreated us and afflicted us, putting us to hard labor. So we called out to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our voice and saw our affliction, toil, and oppression. Then the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great terror, signs, and wonders. And he brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now, behold, I have brought the firstfruits of the land that you, O Lord, have given me. Then you are to place the basket before the Lord your God and bow down before him. So you shall rejoice, you, the Levite, and the foreigner dwelling among you, in all the good things the Lord your God has given to you and your household. When you have finished laying aside a tenth of all your produce in the third year, the year of the tithe, you are to give it to the Levite, the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat and be filled within your gates. Then you shall declare in the presence of the Lord your God, "I have removed from my house the sacred portion and have given it to the Levite, the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow, according to all the commandments you have given me. I have not transgressed or forgotten your commandments. I have not eaten any of the sacred portion while in mourning, or removed any of it while unclean, or offered any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the Lord my God, I have done everything you commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation, from heaven, and bless your people Israel and the land you have given us as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. The Lord your God commands you this day to follow these statutes and ordinances. You must be careful to follow them with all your heart and with all your soul. Today you have proclaimed that the Lord is your God and that you will walk in his ways, keep his statutes and commandments and ordinances, and listen to his voice. And today the Lord has proclaimed that you are his people and treasured possession as he promised, that you are to keep all his commandments, that he will set you high in praise and name and honor above all the nations he has made, and that you will be a holy people to the Lord your God, as he has promised. Then Moses and the elders of Israel commanded the people, Keep all the commandments I am giving you today. And on the day you cross the Jordan into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, set up large stones and coat them with plaster. Write on them all the words of this law when you have crossed over to enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you. And when you have crossed the Jordan, you are to set up these stones on Mount Ebal, as I am commanding you today, and you are to coat them with plaster. Moreover, you are to build there an altar to the Lord your God, an altar of stones. You must not use any iron tool on them. You shall build the altar of the Lord your God with uncut stones and offer upon it burnt offerings to the Lord your God. There you are to sacrifice your peace offerings, eating them and rejoicing in the presence of the Lord your God. And you shall write distinctly upon these stones all the words of this law. Then Moses and the Levitical priests spoke to all Israel, Be silent, O Israel, and listen. This day you have become the people of the Lord your God. You shall therefore obey the voice of the Lord your God and follow his commandments and statutes I am giving you today. On that day Moses commanded the people, When you have crossed the Jordan, these tribes shall stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these tribes shall stand on Mount Ebal to deliver the curse, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. Then the Levites shall proclaim in a loud voice to every Israelite, Cursed is the man who makes a carved idol or molten image, an abomination to the Lord, the work of the hands of a craftsman, and sets it up in secret. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who dishonors his father or mother. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who moves his neighbor's boundary stone. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who lets a blind man wander in the road. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who withholds justice from the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who sleeps with his father's wife, for he has violated his father's marriage bed. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with any animal. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who sleeps with his sister, the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who sleeps with his mother-in-law. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who strikes down his neighbor in secret. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who accepts a bribe to kill an innocent person. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who does not put the words of this law into practice. And let all the people say, Amen. Mark 14 verses 27 to 53. Then Jesus said to them, You will all fall away, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee. Peter declared, Even if all fall away, I never will. Truly I tell you, Jesus replied. This very night, before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. But Peter kept insisting, Even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you. And all the others said the same thing. Then they came to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus told his disciples, Sit here while I pray. He took with him Peter, James, and John, and began to be deeply troubled and distressed. Then he said to them, My soul is consumed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch. Going a little farther, he fell to the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, the hour would pass from him. Abba, Father, he said, all things are possible for you. Take this cup from me. Yet not what I will, but what you will. Then Jesus returned and found them sleeping. Simon, are you asleep? He asked. Were you not able to keep watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray so that you will not enter into temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. Again he went away and prayed, saying the same thing. And again Jesus returned and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. And they did not know what to answer him. When Jesus returned the 3rd time, he said, Are you still sleeping and resting? That is enough. The hour has come. Look, the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. See, my betrayer is approaching. While Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, accompanied by a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, scribes, and elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them, the one eye kisses the man, "Arrest him and lead him away securely." Going directly to Jesus, he said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. Then the men seized Jesus and arrested him. And one of the bystanders drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Jesus asked the crowd, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me as you would an outlaw? Every day I was with you, teaching in the temple courts, and you did not arrest me. But this has happened that the scriptures would be fulfilled." Then everyone deserted him and fled. One young man who had been following Jesus was wearing a linen cloth around his body. They caught hold of him, but he pulled free of the linen cloth and ran away naked. They led Jesus away to the high priest, and all the chief priests, elders, and scribes assembled.